Here is a short post about Rob Pike's 5 rules of programming. Rob Pike, he worked on a Go programming language. Rule number 1, you can't tell where a program is going to spend its time. Bottlenecks occur in surprising places, so don't try to second guess and put in a speed hack until you have proven that's where the bottleneck is. I think that's very true. That's what I always do if something is going slowly. Then I want to measure first to be able to know exactly where is the performance problem. It's so easy to guess, and then you're guessing wrong. Like, you need to have actual data to be able to tell where it's slow. Maybe it's like a long process and you're doing many small steps, but like exactly where is that step that is taking a lot of time. So that's why you shouldn't just go randomly around and try to optimize things, but you should collect the data first. Rule number 2, measure. Don't tune for speed until you have measured, and even then don't unless one part of the code overwhelms the rest. Yeah, that feels like the same thing. You don't know where it's gonna spend time, and you need to measure because you don't know where it's gonna spend time. Rule 3, fancy algorithms are slow when n is small, and n is usually small. Fancy algorithms have big constants until you know that n is frequently going to be big. Don't get fancy. Even if n does get big, use rule 2 first. Yeah, I think if you are able to keep your program simple, then yeah, of course you should do that. Rule number 4, fancy algorithms are buggier than simple ones, and they are much harder to implement. Use simple algorithms as well as simple data structures. I think if you're not doing anything very complicated and performance critical, I don't think you often get into these problems with fancy algorithms. I think most of the programs is just shuffling data from like a database to a web interface and back and forth. Maybe you have like indexes in the database to optimize some queries, but I think usually you don't even come into this dilemma with having to find some fancy algorithm. I think usually it's just looping over objects and transforming them in some way and then pushing them and showing them. So usually I don't think you get into this scenario. Rule number 5, data dominates. If you have chosen the right data structures and organized things well, the algorithms will almost always be self-evident. Data structures, not algorithms, are central to programming. Yeah, I think this is very true. An easy mistake that I've seen in code bases is that you have like a list of items that you loop over, and then you have another list that you're also looping over, so have nested lists, and then the time complexity explodes very quickly. So if you have a collection and you want to find an item out of that, often it's better to have like a dictionary or a map, so you just search for a key and then you get the value. And if it's a map or a dictionary, then it's a constant time to fetch something out of it if you know the key of it. And I think just thinking about what data you have and what are you going to do with it, how are you going to access it, to just choose the right data structure. So don't use list for everything. I think that's a very easy mistake to do. It's so easy to just make a list of everything and then loop over it and get elements. It works, but I think you should a bit more think about the time complexity. Do you want to loop, or is it important to get an item in constant time? And I think with just that realization, then the program code kind of writes itself. Just use the right data structure, and then you don't need to have any fancy algorithms for the majority of cases, I would say. Pike's rules 1 and 2 restate 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's famous maxim: premature optimization is the root of all evil. Yeah, this one is toned a lot. I think it's generally true, but also I think when you're programming that you can be a bit smart to not use completely ridiculous data structures when there is something better. Ken Thompson rephrased Pike's rules 3 and 4 as when in doubt, use brute force. Yeah, so this was the rule 3 and 4 that was about fancy algorithms, and with brute force it's just have these nested loops and don't try to do anything fancy. I think this sounds smarter, and like that's the naive implementation to just loop over it and not think about it, but still at the same time like use a map or a dictionary if that makes sense for the problem. I don't think you need to make this shortcut with a list, since in most programming languages they are like equally easy to use, so you just use what feels appropriate. Rules 3 and 4 are instances of the design philosophy KISS. KISS means keep it simple, stupid. Rule 5 was previously stated by Fred Brooks in the Mythical Man Month. Rule 5 is often shortened to write stupid code that uses smart objects. Not really sure what is with smart objects means, but I can agree with write stupid code. I think most programming is quite stupid code, that you have, as I said, a database and a interface and some layers in between, and you just want to transform data from the database to the user and from the user to the database. Often it's not any rocket science in the programming most programmers do. But I think these were 5 good rules. I think they make a lot of sense. Are these 5 rules something you follow, or is there something you feel is missing from this list? Please share a comment and we will see each other another time. Bye bye!